All right, welcome. If you're looking into fasting for weight loss, you've probably been hit with a ton of conflicting advice. So today, we're going to cut through all that noise and focus on what the science actually says, giving you a clear, no-nonsense guide. So, is just skipping breakfast going to do it? Or do you need to go for a full 24 hours to really see results? That is the big question we're here to answer. So let's dive right in. Here's the game plan. We'll start with what fasting really is, then get into the science of how it works. After that, we'll figure out how long you should fast, and finally, we'll cover the rules for success and the common mistakes you'll want to avoid. Okay, first things first. Before we can figure out how long to fast, we've got to be on the same page about what fasting actually is. And spoiler, it's more than just skipping a meal. You know, at its core, fasting is pretty simple. You deliberately go without food for a set amount of time. And the keywords there are deliberate and controlled. This isn't about just forgetting to eat. It's a structured, intentional way to change your body's energy patterns. And there are a few main ways to go about it. The one you probably hear about most is time-restricted fasting, like the 16-8 method. It's super practical for daily life. Then you've got alternate day fasting, which kicks things up a notch for deeper metabolic shifts. And finally, there's extended fasting, which can get you some pretty dramatic results, but it also comes with much higher risks. Okay, now for the really cool part. What's actually going on inside your body when you stop eating for a bit? Your body is incredibly smart when it comes to finding fuel. First, it's going to burn through the glucose from your last meal. Easy enough. Once that's gone, it taps into its backup supply, which is glycogen stored in your liver. And it's only when that runs out that the real magic happens. It flips the switch and starts burning your body fat for energy. That's the metabolic switch we're all aiming for. And this whole switch is driven by some really powerful hormonal shifts. Your insulin levels drop, which is basically like unlocking the door to your fat stores. At the same time, growth hormone goes up, which helps you burn that fat while protecting your muscle. And for a lot of people, those pesky hunger hormones can actually start to stabilize, which gives you way better appetite control. All right, so this all leads us to the big question. How long do you need to fast to make all this happen and actually lose weight? Let's break down the different options. As you can see, there's really no one-size-fits-all answer. It's all about matching the tool to your specific goal. A 16-hour fast is awesome for sustainable, daily fat burning, and the risks are pretty minimal for most people. A 24-hour fast gets a little more aggressive and pushes for deeper changes. And then you have multi-day fasts, which can lead to rapid results but also carry some serious risks, like nutrient deficiencies and even muscle loss. And hey, don't sleep on these shorter fasts. One study found that people who just limited their eating to a 4 to 6 hour window every day lost about 3% of their body weight in just 10 weeks. Think about it. For someone who's 200 pounds, that's a solid 6 pounds gone, just by changing when you eat. It just goes to show you that a consistent, manageable window can be incredibly effective. And this really hits on such a critical point. The secret sauce isn't just about the number of hours you fast. It's about consistency, it's about the quality of the food you eat, and it's about actually sticking with it for the long haul. Consistency really does beat intensity here. Okay, so keeping that in mind, let's talk about the practical rules of the road, the things that will really make or break your success with fasting. First off, this has to be about you. Your metabolism, how active you are, your starting point, it all matters. And you have to prioritize good food, aim for consistency, not perfection. And look, this one is absolutely non-negotiable. If you have any health conditions, you need to talk to a professional before you start. And I really can't say this enough. Fasting is not a free pass to go crazy on junk food. When you do eat, filling up on nutrient-dense meals is what gives your body the tools it needs to thrive. It keeps your energy up, helps you hold on to muscle, and prevents that dreaded rebound weight gain. All right, let's wrap up with our final section, which I like to think of as a hazard map. We're going to navigate the most common mistakes that can completely derail your progress. First up is the longer is better trap. I mean, it kind of makes sense, right? But pushing for these super long fasts without a sustainable plan often just backfires. It can stress your body out and actually make it cling to fat even more when you finally do eat. Mistake number 2, the post-fast binge. Oh, this is such a common mental trap. You finish your fast and you feel like you've earned this giant meal. But overeating can instantly wipe out all the progress you just made. Mistake number 3, and we've touched on this, but it's so important we're saying it again, neglecting the quality of your food. You could have the most perfect fasting schedule in the world, but it won't matter if you're just eating processed junk in your eating window. Mistake number 4 is forgetting about hydration and electrolytes. Yeah, water is obviously super important, but on those longer fasts, minerals like sodium and potassium are just essential if you want to avoid feeling dizzy, tired, and getting those awful muscle cramps. And finally, probably the biggest and most serious mistake of all, trying to do extreme long-term fasts without any professional guidance. This puts a huge amount of stress on your body and can be seriously dangerous, especially if you have any underlying health issues. So, after all that, what's the big takeaway? It's that the best, safest, most successful fasting plan is one you can genuinely, honestly stick with. It's not about the most extreme schedule, it's about finding a rhythm that actually fits your life. Because at the end of the day, consistency is what drives real, long-term results. And that really brings us to the final, and maybe the most important question of all. Forget what you see online, forget what your friends are doing. Based on your body, your goals, and your lifestyle, what fasting rhythm truly fits your life? Because that's the one that's going to work.